I know what he saved me from. I know when I was abandoned. I know when I was left for dead, who was there for me. And again, he never used what I said against me. He never used my mental health as a weapon. He never used the things that I went through to make me feel less than. And that's where when I found his love like that, his unconditional love, I was just like, whoa. And I never realized I never had that because it just is what it is. But God is not a narcissist. God is not an abuser. God will be there for you in your darkest times. And that's why it's like, come as you are. Jesus, when he came to earth, he wasn't with the royal people. He wasn't with them up there. No, he wasn't with the people that the deemed were everything and in power. No, he came for the people that were deemed too less than and too dirty and all of that. And it's like, no. And that's part of this awakening in this the whole worldwide thing. It's like, no, dude, we are all equal. We are all equal. We haven't all been treated that way. We all haven't been starting at the same starting point, but things need to change. We are breaking through the illusions. We are breaking through the matrix, because not just the 1% gets to be happy, not just the 1%. No. God is here to show everyone that, hey, the underdogs, us underdogs are not underdogs. It doesn't matter if you're Mexican. It doesn't matter if you're Mexican and you have beaner ass hair. You are still just as worthy to go and be up there with everyone else. That you are just as worthy. It doesn't matter if you've had trauma. That doesn't make you any less of a person. Because when God chooses his people, no one can do anything, right? It doesn't matter if I have no degree. It doesn't matter. God will put me in the rooms. And that's where it's like, okay, I went off on I don't know where I was going with that, but it's like, God will, if God chooses you, no one can be against you. Oh, I was talking about, okay, I got it. I was like, where was I going with that? Because times are changing. The people up there, they had their time. They did what they did. The devil used his tactics, the manipulation, the keeping us oppressed, keeping us in chains. Why do you think we are here? Esther 4:14, we were made for a time such as this. Dude, we came here. We weren't here to ruin people's lives. We weren't here. We're not of the devil. No, we came here. Literally, I am not alone. We came here for a time such as this to break through the matrix so that it won't go forward in the future generations, so that things move forward, so that people come back to themselves, come back to God. Right now, people are coming to Jesus more so than ever because Jesus doesn't care. Come as you are. People are unhealthy. I did not mean to say that. I didn't mean to say that. But people are unhealthy. But people are in a mental health crisis and looking for happiness and looking for life again. Looking to live again. We're not meant to be in the depression and in the anxiety and all of that. No, it's our body's way of saying we need to do something. We need to do something to change, to heal. And healing sucks. It fucking sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. It sucks because you have to feel your hardest days over and sometimes over and over again because it's not linear, it's a spiral, and each time you're going over it with a new perspective or a new thought. And that's why when it's like God will let certain things be exposed at certain times because I wouldn't have been able to see it back then, or you know what I mean? There's levels to this shit. And so that's why when I was just like, okay, dude, like you're gonna get new perspective each time, right? You're gonna see it from a different point of view or a bird's eye view, or God will give it to you in another point. Yeah, the new age bullshit can be very misleading, 1,000,000%. Anything can be misleading too, because even same with the churches and religion, and that's part of the things that we're breaking too. There's a lot of churches that turn, and that's where it's like that turn people away that have church hurt, and it's like, I'm sorry, those were people that hurt you. That wasn't God that hurt you. That wasn't Jesus. You know what I mean? But yeah, there is a lot of shit out there that is so misleading, and that's where I get where that girl that where she was saying like we can't just call everyone a narcissist. I completely get where she's coming from, right? In the sense of like people are just overusing the term, and that's why the whole like twin flame thing at the last summer or whatever, everyone's like, oh, and it became toxic. And it's like, no, dude, you're not going to use these things for toxicity. And that's what they did. The people used the Bible, they used God, they used the church as ways to get what they wanted for power and control. It all goes down to power and control. But us chosen one, us beautiful angels, light workers, whatever, psychics, mediums, whatever we go by, we are here to break the cycle for our families, to break the cycle, to show people that we are here, that you can heal. Yes, it's going to take time. It's not 21 days and so it is, but yours will not be as hard as mine. I promise you that. It will not, unless you're like another chosen one, but by this time you would have already known that. But it's like, dude, you can heal and you can do this. Again, it's like over time, like, right, you can't, when you first go to the gym, you can't pick up a 50-pound weight. You have to start out with a 2-pound weight, and then over time your endurance and all of that, and you get stronger, and then you can pick up the 50-pound weight, and before you know it, it's just natural, and you're not even reminding yourself that you're amazing and worthy, right? Because I look back to years ago, like 2 years ago or whatever, and it's like I didn't trust myself. I didn't even trust myself. At one point when someone was gaslighting me, I thought like, damn, am I a narcissist, right? I really even questioned that, and it's like, no, try to gaslight me again. No, fuck out of here with that shit. He doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the calls. The call is so true. It's true. But yeah, and it's true. And that's where it's like, dude, I know that I'm a heavy hitter. I know that my testimony is gonna change lives left and right. Especially, I keep going back to, you know how many people, and it's sad, I hate that this is true, but you know how many people I know and that I've talked to and that I've just, that are literally in narcissistic abusive relationships, and they don't, like, you know what I mean, is there's so many kids, so many, and they're not even kids anymore, like people my age and kids too, but there's so many people in narcissistic relationships and all of that. And that's where it's like, unfortunately, it's sad, but people will be saved in that sense of, because I didn't know until I knew when I woke up. And then when I woke up, I was like, what the fuck? And then when I realized what that word was, it was like, oh, this explains everything. It made sense. I was like, oh, this literally just puts a vocab word to it. The doggy barking. But it's just like, I did so amazing.